Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 155. Welcome today. We're going to talk about getting vibrato, how to get vibrato in singing. And this is a major topic that is always being asked about. And one of the big questions is, can you really develop vibrato? Can you really get it if you weren't born with it? So here's the question of the day. Here's the question that I want you to answer. Does it sound like I was born with vibrato? That's all this is just the question is. Does it sound like I was born with vibrato, yes or no? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? And I'll give you a little bit more information about that in just a few minutes. So let me just say hello to those of you who are in the wings and waiting. And we're going to have some fun today because I'm going to share with each of you how to develop vibrato. And so the answer, as you probably surmise, is that, well, the answer is yes, it sounds like I was born with vibrato, but I wasn't. And I couldn't do vibrato until I was 43 years old. And that is it was one of the, hey, George, nice to have you here today. You guys are blowing away out there in California as long as you're not burning up. My goodness sakes. It's been a rough year out there in California. I was told when I was around 16 years old by my first voice teacher that if you weren't born with vibrato, you don't have it. Now, I believed her because she had her master's degree in vocal performance from university in a major metropolitan area of the Midwest in the United States. She had an album that she had recorded. She was a well-known singer and well-known teacher in my area. But she said, if you don't have it naturally, you don't. If you weren't born with it, you don't have it. And so I believed her because I didn't have vibrato, and I believed that was the, I was one of the unfortunate ones that wasn't born with vibrato. And then it wasn't until I was 43, almost 44, that I was told that that was not correct. And I think I was 44 years old when I learned how to do vibrato. So I'm going to show you some ways to go about that today. Hi, Madro Holdings. Madro Holdings. Nice to have you here today. I don't recognize that handle. So if this is your first time today, you guys let me know. It's nice to have you joining us. And Kyle, nice to have you here today. Hi, Melody. Vibrato, the bane of my existence. Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. And maybe that's a good thing to introduce this topic with, because it seems pretty simple on the face of it. All you have to do is do why is that so hard to learn? I wish I'd kind of kept more of a journal on my vibrato. I did keep some semblance of a journal when I was first studying this technique, and when I was around 43, 44 years old. And so I was jotting down exciting experiences and sharing my enthusiasm in my journal and so forth. I didn't ever make any comments about during the process of learning how to do vibrato, so I'm not even sure. But I know that I didn't sing a solo again. I mean, I hadn't sung a solo from the time I started studying, which would have been in around November of '96. And it was probably around April-ish, 1st of May, that I recall actually singing in front of a class of other singers. And I think by then I had my vibrato going. And so I would say I became aware that I could develop vibrato sometime at the end of 97 or 96, the beginning of 97. And so I would say probably, I remember the moment that I was told that no, anybody could develop vibrato, and I think I was skeptical, and I was given some exercises to help get vibrato going in my voice. But I think it took me several months, and if I am guessing accurately, maybe 3 to 4 months before I felt confident enough to do it in a song. And so it's not necessarily a snap of the finger and there it appears. Now, there is a snap of the finger and there it appears in its rough form. You can start feeling that vibrato pretty quickly. Arthur, nice to have you here today. Hello from London. Aman, nice to have you here. Hi, I see vibrato. I click. Now, it's me, Stephen Maduro. Okay, we did a few lessons. Nice to have you here today, Stephen. Okay, so let's talk about 3 specific ways to develop vibrato. And please don't discount them because they are rather simple exercises. Hey, Mohammed, Farzan, nice to have you here today. I know this is not a vibrato question, so I'm going to stop reading because I'm going to go ahead and do these. I'm going to give these 3 answers or 3 ways to get vibrato, and then I'm going to come back and answer everyone's questions. So, first and easiest way, and I think maybe this is one of the first ways that I was taught how to do vibrato, is to take my hands and give myself a little bit of help, shake my hands. It actually shakes your body, but it gets this thing going. Now, that might seem infantile or juvenile. However, it really works. It induces this feeling of the vibrato and the sound of the vibrato. And so there's nothing wrong with that. One of the things that I was mistaken in is I thought that if I tried to make vibrato, that was wrong. It's not wrong to try and make vibrato if you don't have it. It's okay. We've got to get it started some way. It's like, is it wrong to get up and try and walk, even though you keep falling down? Wouldn't it be awful if we said to our little children, don't you dare try that. Don't you get up there. You have to start walking. You can't just get up and start stumbling and falling. No. You have to just start walking as if you were born walking. None of us were born walking. Why would we be born with vibrato? Although some people seem to have it naturally. So, but most of us have walking naturally, right? But we still have to learn it, and we still get up and fall down. So this it's surprising how much that helps and how many people are surprised when they first do it. Now here's a mistake that singers often make when they first start doing this. And they stop. They don't. And then they stop doing it. Let me give you a little hint. Give yourself plenty of air and keep doing that for a few minutes or a few moments. Now, there's a reason behind that. I'll talk about that in a second. The second thing you want to do, as soon as you get that kind of that sense, that feel, stop shaking your hands, but see if you can keep that same spin, that same feeling going, that feeling of vibrato. And even if it's a struggle, give it another shake a little, but hold it out long enough. We need to hold it out long enough so that the vocal cords have time to process it, to begin memorize, to create a new muscle memory. New muscle memory. And we can't create new muscle memory if we don't give it time. You have to hold it out long enough to start feeling the rhythm. If it starts to sputter, get it going again. Now, so those are the three things. It takes time to memorize it. We want to hold it, so we want to hold it out long enough to allow some muscle memory to begin to develop. And then when you get it started, stop shaking your hands, but keep the feeling going in your throat. If it starts to sputter, slow down. Start it up again, or just keep doing your hands. Gradually, you'll be able to begin doing it on your own. The vocal cords kind of get the idea. It feels awkward. It feels unnatural. And it's difficult to believe in at first. So you have to give it some time, really. I mean, think about, again, going back to the analogy or the comparison of learning to walk. If you fall down, you can fall down and hurt yourself. You can fall down and hit your head. You can do all kinds of things. But we keep getting up and trying again. It's exactly the same thing with vibrato. If it stops, start it over again. If if it sputters and slows and you can't do it, start those hands again. Just keep getting up and trying it. And in time, the voice will develop muscle memory. Now, you may not be able to do it well enough to want to do it in front of people. But practice it as often as you can. And whenever you can in a song, you want to begin putting vibrato into the song. When you wish upon a star. So whatever you're holding the note, give yourself a chance to do some vibrato. Makes no difference who you are. So you want to begin applying it right away. Don't wait till it's perfect. Start putting it in a song and do the exercise in the song. Wherever you can hold, wherever you're able to hold the note. I'll show you another trick. Let's do it on this one. Here's this is called the five tone with the word gi, but do it softly. Giggy 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 Giggy. Don't shake the hands. I was getting excited about the first one. Giggy 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 Giggy. Let me give you another tip. Do it in your chest voice. Do it someplace easy. Don't do it up high. Don't do it in the bridge of your voice where it wants to transition into head, or at the top of chest where it's getting tight. Go down low enough in your chest voice where it's comfortable. Gee, 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 gee. Or gee, 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 gee. Do that soft gee, 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 and get it. And if you have to, like, give yourself a little bit of a help. Gee, 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 gee. Gee, 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 gee. It's a the same principles apply there. Once you get it started, gee, 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 gee. Hold it out long enough so that the muscle memory begins to take over, or at least it's trying to take over. Then do it again. If it starts and stops, that's okay. Gee, 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 gee. By the way, it snowed in my house last night. Can you believe it? Tonight it's supposed to be about 15 degrees here in my hometown, which is close to Salt Lake City, Utah. We've got an Arctic blast of air coming right down from the Arctic, from the Arctic Circle. Pretty exciting, huh? It's going to be about 20 to 25 degrees for the Halloween evening here, trick-or-treaters. For those of you who are not in the States, we do a Halloween on the last day of October. And the kids go door to door and say trick-or-treat, and then the family, they give them some candy. And they go from door to door, and it's a great holiday for the kids. It's not a holiday, but it's a great, I guess it's a holiday. It's not, we don't get time off, but anyway, dress up in costumes and go door to door and get candy. All right. The third way of getting vibrato today, and then I'm going to give you, there's a link. I'll just tell you right now, there's a link in the description below. And some people have been asking for this. I've got a course, Conquer Vibrato, which I opened, I don't know, half a year ago or so, 3/4 of a year ago, and I closed it. We're going to be opening it again in not too distant future. And there's a wait list there. You can just get on the wait list, and that way you'll be notified. Doesn't matter if it's not the right time for you, but at least you'll be notified that we're opening it again. It's in the description below the in the YouTube video, below this video. It will be there available for you to click on and get on the list. There's a bunch of ways a bunch of exercises to help get this vibrato going. And there are exercises that you can do to help you speed up the vibrato. Some people they have vibrato, but it goes too slow, or to slow down the vibrato because it goes too fast. And that's all available in this course. It's a great course. It's really an awesome course. Now, number 3. Excuse me. Alternating pitches. Just practice that, going back and forth. This is a whole step. For me, it's C to D. Ladies, you would probably do it up here around, well, you could do it an octave higher. E, o, or maybe lower. O, down in your chest voice. Oh, oh. Get used to that for a minute. Now, there was my first piano piece. Tweedledum and Tweedledee. I can't remember the rest of it. Something about across the sea, there they met a great big whale, or something. Anyway, that whole step. Oh, do that a few times, and then now what you want to do is come back to it and try and do it a little bit faster. Do it faster. Do it neatly. Do it orderly. Don't slop it. Oh, oh, oh. Now, the idea is, step number 3, do this and do it faster still. Oh, and take it to the end of that where it just starts to spin. Oh, oh. And I like to use my hand. Oh. So I get a little bit of a rhythm going. Oh. So those are 3 really great ways just to start inducing the vibrato. The same principles apply. Hold it out long enough to start memorizing, so the vocal cords can memorize it, and start applying it to songs as soon as you can. For example, if you were singing, I'll just sing American spiritual. But take any song. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody, nobody knows my sorrow. So on every note, my sorrow. Start practicing that vibrato on every single note. Now, you wouldn't sing it this way, right? But it's an exercise to help you memorize the feeling of this vibrato. All right, so there's 3 really solid ways. It's okay to manufacture or to induce or to create vibrato. At first, it doesn't sound like you were born with it, but over time, it will. No one will ever know the difference, that you just didn't have a natural vibrato from the very first time you tried it, that it was just somehow there, like it is for many people, but not for me, and not for a lot of us on planet Earth. We simply just don't have it naturally. It maybe is there, but for whatever reason, we're unable to release it. And so we have to nurture it, encourage it, induce it, manufacture it until it becomes natural and normal. It feels very normal to do this. We want to use vibrato in our voices because it's healthy, and it's a better condition for our voices rather than just a straight edge with there's a lot of reasons for vibrato. Just in rounding the tone, improving the pitch, and a lot of different things. It's good for the voice. It's good for our ear. In the West here, in the Western world, we kind of, even if it's subconsciously, we expect it. So now let me back up and take some comments here. This is not a vibrato question, Farzan says, but I'm doing mix exercises for 1 month and I don't see any results. I'm getting the voice. I'm letting the voice go with 10 different teachers such as you, but I don't see any result. Gosh, Farzan, I don't know what to tell you. They're all either all wrong or you're wrong. Somebody's got to help you somehow. I'd take a lesson if I were you. That's what I'd do. I'd take a lesson. I'd pick a teacher and take a lesson. Somebody you have confidence in. Someone can do vibrato. Or sorry, someone can do vibrato, but someone who could do mix. I'd take a lesson. I wouldn't spend too much more time on it if you're not getting results. And that would probably be my recommendation. Melody says, my story is strange. I've never liked heavy vibrato, so when I was young, I actually shut mine down. It's embarrassed me, so I turned it off. Some notes, days, it's great. Other times, no way on any note. You know, Melody, you're probably still working a little bit against your psychology, too. And so, you know, be aware of that. We don't, you know, I find vibrato is, it just feels great on the voice, but it's healthy for the voice. To hold the edges together so that it's just a straight edge. It puts a little bit of pressure on the voice that is not ideal, and the healthy aspect of vibrato is a real plus. And as I mentioned, we kind of come to expect to hear it. You can tell when you can kind of tell when somebody's not a real experienced singer if they can't do vibrato. And you know, maybe you can't consciously say, oh, I know what the problem is here. They don't have vibrato. But we sense it some way. It happens a lot with younger singers, with younger kids. And maybe teens and so forth. Nick Van Schwalkvik. Nick, I can't pronounce your name very well, but I can say Nick. Nice to have you here today. I also thought that people who sang with vibrato had a special musical talent from birth. I'm glad to learn the contrary. Nick, I understand you know where you're coming from, and it was a real shock for me. It was a miracle for me to think that I could do vibrato. I just had no idea that I could. It's really fun and it's exciting. Kyle B. is someone who is singing with vibrato considered more professional than non-vibrato singers. Not necessarily, unless they can't. And you can usually hear it in their voice if someone simply can't sing vibrato. A lot of times you'll hear someone sing vibrato at the end of holding a note, you know, and I don't get any real great pleasure from hearing this, but somebody will sing right at the very end. Why? I don't know. I don't know if the music directors say, hold it out so there's no vibrato until the very end, or if we all think that's cool or something. It doesn't do anything for me. I like vibrato. It would have been fine with me if they'd said, ah. So, you know, I don't know why it's done. But sometimes people will do that. Then you think, well, I guess they've got, we don't think anything. Most people don't think anything about it, but I do because I'm a teacher. So when I hear that, I think, well, they're styling it or something that way. But I don't think there's anything beneficial to it. I don't think there's anything special about it. But they're just singing on a straight edge for a little while, and then they go to the vibrato. Hi, Anna. Nice to have you here today. I'm a Cher impersonator. I remember you. And Cher has a lot of vibrato. It's been 8 months and I've struggled trying to put vibrato in my singing. Yeah, and Cher sings kind of heavy, and so it's, as an impersonator, you really are kind of bearing down into the voice. And that's not easy to do. So, Anna, you may find that you've got to learn the vibrato in a non-Cher style. So go lighter, go easier, go quieter, go softer, and sing it in some songs that are not Cher songs. Sing it in a lullaby rather than in a song that Cher would do, because she's a heavy, chesty singer, and I think that's a very difficult environment to try and learn to do vibrato and to do it well and to manage it. Sometimes singers like that, they're putting so much chest into their voice, and maybe even pulling chest voice as they go higher, that their vibrato starts to slow down. That's part of the problem with pulling chest. So the environment you're trying to learn in, Anna, is not an easy one. So I would change the environment. I would, go easy, go light, go gentle, and learn the vibrato that way. Okay, so Melody's given me a report. It snowed in Idaho. We're supposed to have an overnight of 9. Oh yeah, that's right, Melody. I saw us coming right through your guys' area there, and low of 9 degrees. We're having an Arctic blast, you guys, and it's October, where our temperatures here are usually in the high 50s, maybe low 60s this time of year. It's getting colder and colder, but nothing like this. We're going to break some records tonight. I think I'm wrong. Farzan, you may be more right than you think. But it's hard to hear. It's hard for me to hear my voice and to diagnose me. So I can only speak from my experience. It helps me to have another ear, a trained ear, that can give me some help. Wang Pua, hi. Nice to have you here today. Madhura Holdings, I am practicing along with this live chat. I find one note is easy to get and the very next note up isn't, but it's encouraging to hear it on one note. And so I would definitely add some handshaking here. There's, anything goes here just to get it started. And even on that, even if you have to give it a little kickstart, just get it going. We're just trying to induce that vibrato on the vocal cords, which is where it is located, by the way. So Melody says, I think the real purpose of vibrato became more clear when my daughter was learning vibrato on flute. I never made the connection with vibrato as helping tuning. Good point, Melody. It's a really great point. The vibrato seems to round the tone and round the pitches, so that it helps tune it. If I said, there's kind of an invigorating that occurs to the tone quality, and that vibrato, that energy that we put into that, seems to help that pitch. Whereas that straight edge, holding that straight note, it's so easy to go a little sharp or a little flat on it, whereas the vibrato gives us some cushion there. I suppose scientifically I have no idea what's going on, but I'd suppose that the overtones that are coming from the vibrato are helping tune that. Melody says, it just occurred to me that vibrato in my head is probably easier because I have less bad habits in head voice. I've just found my head voice, and when I get good release. It just comes out. Yeah. You might try. You don't want to avoid chest voice though, Melody. So we eventually want it, but we want to get it. So go where it's easy. Go where it feels natural or more normal to you. Get it there, and then gradually take it down or take it up, depending on where we're learning it. For me, it would be take it higher into chest, or a higher chest voice into my bridge, because that's the ultimate. That's what we really want. We want to say, ah. So we don't want to just have to only do it in chest, but we've got to learn someplace. It's not going to be the first day or the first week, or maybe it's not going to be the first month. Could be. Might come quickly for you. I don't know. All right. So now, as I mentioned before, you may want to, if you've come after we've finished our broadcast, I mentioned earlier that in the description below there's a wait list for my Vibrato course, and we'll be releasing it in the next few months. And you don't have, if it's not the right time for you, that's fine. But if you're on the list, at least we'll let you know that it's going to be made available again. And we also have, for those who are members of Singers Impact, which is the membership site, it's there inside the membership. So Melody is one of our members, and she has that, of course, available to her inside Singers Impact membership site. Okay, so I don't see any more questions here. Anyone else have any more questions today? We'll call it a day, unless there's more that you would like to discuss. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has. How long do you recommend practicing vibrato each day? Angela, that's a great question. You could make it a part of everyday practice, and it doesn't have to be the whole well, there's some exercises that, if you're saying where do you hold, where do you do vibrato there, right? But if you're saying you want to put the vibrato in where you're doing any sustaining. So you could do that whenever you're practicing. Whenever you're practicing songs, you can do the vibrato. But if I were just learning, just starting out, and I wanted to learn, I wanted to get this down, I'd do it every day, and I'd probably spend at least 10, 15 minutes on it. It's not, I don't think it's so much of how long you do it. It's that you're doing it correctly. So, in other words, I don't want to do 15 minutes of mainly doing straight tone. But if I did 5 minutes of and just started practicing, I do remember the awkward feeling. There's an awkwardness about this, and this is probably why we give up. Don't give up. Live, endure the awkwardness. Keep working on it. It's going to get better and better. So I'd say, as correctly as you could, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes a day, but 10 minutes of really correct practice, and not just kind of, a vibrato here and a vibrato there. No, you want to get. How long does it take to really develop muscle memory? For a little kid, think about them learning to walk, and they're in the front room of the house, and they get up and they let go for a minute, right? And that's kind of like, when we're holding on, we're helping, then we let go, and then we fall. And so the vibrato stops. Then we get started again, holding on to the edge of the couch. Then we let go, and before you know it, then we start to get brave. We take a few steps, and we fall. We get back up. We have to hold on to something. We let go. We take a step or two. Get a hold of the couch again. We got some help there. So, you know, probably as much as a little child practices walking. I think that's probably a good comparison. Effective practice. Hi, Joe. Thank you, George. Great to see you here. Joe says, I love having taken your course on vibrato. Awesome. I can do it anytime and all the time. Thanks, Chuck. It's made a difference for me. Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate that testimonial. Angela says, doing it correctly. Yes, awkward. Yeah. As awkward as learning to walk, right? Full voice to practice this, or is it okay to do it light voice? Does it matter? Yeah, I think it does matter. Giggy 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 Giggy. I do it softer than louder. You can get louder eventually. You want to start getting that feel. So I wouldn't do it loud, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the challenge that Anna has. She's a vocal impersonator, and so she's impersonating Cher, and Cher's a heavy singer, loud, heavy singer, and so that's probably a very difficult environment to develop your vibrato. We want to bring that, go down into the chest voice where it's easy, and do it soft. Or or the other Giggy 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 Giggy. Doesn't have to be big vibrato yet. Just do it really. Put it in a small little place and work on it that way, and you start getting that feel. Melody says Chuck's vibrato courses really helped me. I'm getting it better. You guys, this is all, I didn't ask Melody or Joe to help promote this, and it's not even available yet. But get on the waiting list; it'll help. I promise you. Thank you guys for sharing. The course has really helped me. It's getting better. Still working on adjusting to altitude for breath support. Yeah, Melody moved from Texas to Idaho. What's your elevation there, Melody? My home is at about 4,400, about 4,400 feet elevation above sea level here. My mom is visiting from the Midwest. She lives at about 87 feet elevation, so she's out of breath all the time. Angela, great analogy. Thanks. All right, everyone. It's just been delightful to be with you today, and this is a real challenge for many singers. It was for me, but to be able to add vibrato to what I was doing is just been one of the really a thrill of my life as far as my singing is concerned. 3,500 feet. Yeah, Melody, you're yeah, that's it takes a while to get your air, that's for sure. Okay, everyone, thanks very much. Great to be with you today. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power, and vibrato. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.